Hello, 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 everybody. So I got this Tiny Tiger, really cool generator. Don't know if it works yet. I just got it last week. I'm gonna need to clean it up a little, and I need to fix a connector, the connector that goes to the spark plug, because apparently it's broken off. But it's just a cool little generator. Right here, the Tiny Tiger. See that? So cool. It says it right here, Tiny Tiger. 300 watts, 150 volts. AC. Battery charging 12 amps at 12 volts DC. Yeah, so here's the plug. So here's the plug for whatever you want to plug in, but like I said, it's only 300 watts, so you can't get too crazy with it. But still, to have a generator this small, and hopefully it works. And even if it doesn't, I can maybe work on it to get it to work. It has good compression. This is the connector. This is the little connector I need to replace. I'm just going to take that one off and just crimp a new one onto the wire. So it's got the coil here. Coil goes up to the spark plug. Obviously, spark plug goes down into the pistons, and that's what creates the rotation, which uses the magnetic force and creates electricity. So obviously I need to crimp on a new connector here, and but there's still gas in it, and it takes a mixture. It takes a mixture of gas and oil, like any really two-stroke engine. So it tells you right here, there's like a bunch of instructions, which is pretty awesome. They I don't know if that's a sticker. Are they printed on there, or they put a sticker on there that tells you exactly, to start, do not pull starter viciously, clean muffler every 25 hours. So the muffler is pretty jacked up, if you could kind of see, but it's still there on some of these that are listed for sale. The muffler's not even there. So, and I may actually eventually try to use a modified muffler, because I know, little two-stroke engines could be really loud. So I'd have to research that and see how I could, put a muffler on there that, makes it even more quiet. Here's the gas. Like I said, there's still gas in there. And it says to start cold, choke lever to choke. So, so here's the choke lever right here. And then you got half and you got full. Half and then open. So you put the choke lever all the way to full. So you go all the way open. When you're starting cold, you go all the way open, and then pull starter until engine fires, which is this. Pull start. Like back in the day, how a lot of the three-wheeler ATCs would be these pull starts, and I used to have a little three-wheeler, little 110 three-wheeler that we used to have to pull. The handle was a little different. This is like a little ball. The other one would be kind of a rectangle shape, so you can put your whole hand under it, because those were the engine was bigger. It needed a little stronger pull. So I don't think this one needs as strong as pull as those old ones. But anyway, it says pull starter until engine fires, then choke lever to half. So then you put the choke lever to half, and then crank. When engine starts, pull starter until engine fire. Oh, so you pull this until you hear the fire, and then move choke lever to open. So, so actually right now it's on full choke, because it says choke and then it says open. So this is completely open. This is after it's already started. You put it to open, and this is the little lever right here. if you could see that, and that works fine. To start hot, choke lever to half. So you don't put a full choke, you just go to half until engine starts, then move to open. And then it has a little, it says oil hole. So the oil hole is right here, so you can put oil, do not, oh, okay. And then now it has fuel mixture on the bottom. So you have all the instructions right here, which is pretty awesome. They thought ahead and they knew, people were gonna have these and they were gonna lose the manual or what have you. I think everything should do this. Just put a big sticker on how you're supposed to operate it. But it says 3/4 pint outboard oil with 1 gallon regular gas. So you need a dedicated fuel can, that you can mix the oil with, that you don't use for strictly fuel, because obviously you don't want oil in your whatever else that doesn't need oil. So you need a dedicated fuel can. Oh, that's 4th of July fireworks. It is 4th of July. So happy 4th of July. Happy Freedom Day, people. So you want the dedicated fuel can. And then it says mix well in clean container. Breaker point gap 0.015. I don't even know what that is, but obviously it's important. Spark plug gap 0.030. So that's those little things you can buy, and it has the little gap, and you could put the gap in on the bottom of the spark plug where the spark actually is created, and apparently it needs 0.030 of a gap. So that's it. Yeah, I was out and about shopping and came upon this bad boy. And as soon as I saw it, someone else I knew came up, and he was very interested in it. He was like, "Oh, let me see it." I know he wanted it. He wanted it, of course, because who wouldn't? This thing is so cool. So he's like, "Let me see it," and I was just kind of like, and I was like, "I'm gonna get it." You know what I mean? Like, don't try to take it because I'm gonna get it. So he grabbed it, he was looking at it, and he was talking about the this cable. And he said, "Oh, you're gonna have to get a new cable." And I was like, "Oh, isn't that like an air hose or something?" And he was like, "No, because this is the coil." And I was like, "Oh, you're right. So this is the coil, this is the cable that goes from the coil. Like I said, this creates the electricity to send to the spark plug. The spark plug then creates a spark, which turns the piston, which turns the crank, or the piston, and which turns the crank and creates electricity through magnetism and movement. Movement and magnetism create electricity. So anyway, I was there looking at it. The guy was really interested in it. We were talking about it. So I go up to the guy who was selling it, and I said, "How much?" And he said, $20. I was like, "I'll take it." And yeah, so basically it needs to be cleaned up. It's pretty dirty. The other ones I've seen for sale online are like a lot cleaner. A lot of them say, I mean, there's not that many, but a lot of them say, just for parts. The ones that are on there, the few that are on there say parts only. And they're going for a pretty high price, even for just parts. And people are buying them, which is crazy. So yeah, like I said, I pulled, and then the guy, my buddy that was there as well, he was like, "Here, let me put the wire close. You pull the cable and see if we get a spark." He said he saw a spark. I didn't see a spark. He said he saw one. If he did, that would be great. But I didn't see the spark. But it has good compression. It sounds a lot better when I pull it fast. Watch. So it has good compression. Obviously, it's not getting a spark to the spark plug, and in order to get an engine to start, you need fuel you need a spark and you need air. Okay, so if there's no spark, engine is not going to start. So it's definitely not going to start now, but I am going to, like I said, replace crimp a new connector onto this wire, connect the wire to the spark plug, and then we shall see if it works. Let me see. I want to see if it gets a spark. Like he said it did. I don't know, when it winds back up, it has a funny sound. I don't know if I could fix that, but when I pull it and then release, it makes a weird, like, squeaky sound, like it needs to be oiled. I guess in the front here it says, you know, that's where you put the oil. It probably needs to be oiled, and I probably need to do that before I, you know, run it, like, for real, because you know, little things like that can really mess up, you know, ruin it. Basically can ruin it so you'll never use it again. See, I'm not seeing a spark. Obviously it's kind of harder with one person because it's kind of hard to hold it down, and I need to kind of hold it down to pull, because when I pull it picks the whole thing up and it kind of doesn't get a good enough pull. But yeah, so I need to oil that. Obviously, like I said, there's still gas in here unless it poured out while I was transporting it. Yeah, there's still gas. Obviously it has oil in the gas, but this thing is pretty dirty. I mean, just, you know, for a few seconds cleaning it, and it's like pretty dirty. But I mean, for $20, it's like I said, just parts only. This thing was selling for a good amount of money. But yeah, I've always wanted like a generator. I told my uncle about it, and he wanted it really bad. He wanted to buy it for me, and I'm like, get one of the ones online, or if I find another one, that one's yours, because you know, generators are hard to get, and if you buy it new, they're really, really expensive, and especially like the little portable one, it's crazy. You know what I mean? You have the Honda, they're the best, they're like quiet and everything, but they're pretty big, and I'm sure they put out a lot more watts than 300. But this thing is good as a little portable thing where it's not that heavy. So I'm really excited about it, and I'm excited to use it. As I was saying, you know, when you don't you know, do maintenance on little things that need to be fixed, it could really ruin things. I one time got what was it? Maybe a 8x4 or 8x6 trailer. It just had little wheels. It was kind of like one of those Harbor Freight trailers, but it had like walls and stuff on it. But it was just like one of those little basic trailers, and apparently the bearings in them go out every once in a while. You know, you have to check the bearings and oil them, or actually just put new bearings. And I was driving it around all over the place, and eventually it started squeaking, and I was a little ways away from home. So then I was like, ooh, what do I do? So I just kept going, and then apparently the bearing just broke, and then it just like, the tire just seized up. The rim just seized up. So then I had to just pull it over and put it onto the curb. And when I went back to go get it, it was like the bearing, or the piece of the rim, was like basically like welded onto the axle. So so that kind of ruined it. I just had to get rid of it because, you know, I mean, I don't know, maybe if I would have took time, I could have like hacksawed it off, or, you know, found a way to fix it. I actually bought the bearings, and what I was gonna do is I was gonna change the bearings, and then just use it. But then when I took the actual, when I jacked it up and looked at it, it was like kind of like welded together. So I couldn't even change the bearings or do anything with it. I just returned the bearings and had to get rid of the trailer. But little things like that, like if I left this sound, I mean, it doesn't sound that bad right now, but when you first kind of do it, it makes that weird sound like it needs oil. So I don't want to mess around. I don't want to, ruin this by not doing something simple, because all it takes is, like 5 minutes to do something really simple, and you won't ruin the stuff that you have. So I want to oil that up. And then obviously, like I said, change this connector, and then I'll connect it, and then, put the choke on full, try it out. I want to clean it up too, obviously. Looks like it needs a good cleaning. It's got like a lot of oil, just kind of like a car gets after a while, where it just starts to get oil all over it, like old oil. So there's that, and then you got some like paint chips, and this muffler I kind of want to play with. I think I need to. It has a little nut on the end right here, so I want to take this nut off, pull it off, take this part off. It doesn't even look like it's like connected to the piece anymore. So yeah, so I want to check that out. Just clean it up, check this out, put a new connector, maybe even take the spark plug out and check it. Maybe check the gap, see if it's 0.030. Clean up the coil. Looks a little rusty, get a toothbrush and just like a little bit of water and just, clean all that up. Yeah. I guess you put a little oil in there. And that's a little tiny hole right there. So that thing is so tiny. But that's where it says to put it, right here. Oil hole, right there. So, maybe just household oil. I'm not sure really. Maybe I should research it a little more. So that's the Tiny Tiger. But it is, a generator. Like I said, I was looking for a generator. There was a guy that had one in the alley, because I always pass by this alley. He's not there anymore, but there was like a big generator there, and I think it was a Honda, but it was like an old one, like maybe 1500 watt. It was, and it sounded not that good, but it started, and I was trying to get it for like $50, but I think he wanted like 150 or 200. So I didn't end up getting that one. But yeah, it's good. They're good to have just for any kind of situation you find yourself in, whether you want to use it for recreation purposes or you want to have it as a backup in case anything happens, like an emergency situation, when all the power goes out, when just anything, you just want to be prepared and have just a little bit of a backup. So that's why I've always wanted one, and this thing is really cool because, like I said, it's portable. I could take it different places. I mean, if I go camping or what have you, I think it would be very beneficial to have. Yeah, because we always like need power. We need power for everything. And it was such an amazing deal. I can't believe I got it for that cheap. And then when I saw on eBay how much they were going for just for the parts only ones, I was like pretty shocked. I was shocked, but I wasn't that shocked, just because I think, the size of it, how small it is, you don't see anything like this really. Usually when you see generators, they're pretty big. So you don't really see generators like this much anymore. Obviously this is kind of like, this is older, this is vintage. Tiny Tiger, and it said O&R, something in Rice, Orville and Rice or something like that. Oh, there it is, Olson and Rice. It's like O-H, Olson and Rice. OHLSSON. But I thought I saw a different name somewhere. Los Angeles, California. Oh wow, so they actually made these in LA, which is where I'm at right now. So not surprising that I would find one here in LA if they actually, their factory was here and they made them here. Not sure if that company's still in business. This company's still in business. It probably is, but I'm not positive about that. Yeah, I really like it. I'm really excited with the purchase. Really excited that I was able to find it. And like I said, my uncle really wanted it, but I mean, you know, we need generators. Everybody should have a generator. And if I'm just giving it to him, I mean, he would have gave me some money for it, but you know, when am I going to find another one like this? This is so portable. Obviously, the other ones are portable. Those Hondas, those are portable too, but they're just a little more heavy. Obviously, they supply more wattage, but I think this, even if you have one of those, it would still be good to have one of these. So, I mean, obviously, it'd be nice to have one of those and one of these. But for now, I mean, I think this is cool, a generator. I've also thought about trying to make generators, and apparently you need a certain type of motor for that will work backwards, because you know, usually the stuff you plug it in and then the motor creates the movement, you know, which, you know, creates the motion, and or spins the, you know, the magnet, and then it creates the motion, like with a washing machine or a dryer. But apparently, like treadmill motors, allegedly, are those type of motors. The treadmill motors you can use as a generator. Probably not all of them, but you know, some of them. And then also the front loading washers. From what I was told, from what I heard, that the front loading washers and I'm not sure the name of the motor that you can use to create your own, to make your own generator, but not all motors can you can't use any motor to create a generator. You know what I mean? And I just thought it would be cool, to have, you know, a gas powered generator, and even like a bicycle powered generator would be cool too. You know what I mean? Like get a motor from a front loading washer or from a treadmill, and then you could hook it up like to a bike, or you know, create a system to where you attach the rear wheel or the rear motion from when you're pedaling to the generator, and that movement, this one uses gas to create the movement, so the gas obviously explodes, which from the spark creates the movement of the piston, which the piston then creates the motion, but it all comes from gas. The gas power, the explosion, boom, 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 and then the piston, boom, 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 and then the rotation, and then the rotation creates, you know, the magnetism, the magnet spinning creates the power, and that's how you get the power. So what you want is you want to spin the magnets. So there's different ways to spin the magnets. Actually, it's magnets and copper. Usually it's copper. Sometimes it's like copper coated aluminum, which they're using a lot of now for a lot of different things. They're using copper coated aluminum. But the copper wires and the magnets, when the magnet's spinning, that's what creates the electricity, the amps, the watts, the electricity that comes out and you can use. So you need that movement to create the electricity, the movement with the magnets to send to the copper wires to send out to whatever, to the plug to use for your device. So basically you want that rotation, the magnetic rotation, and you can get it through gas, the explosion of gas, or you can get it through pedaling. And I think it would be cool to have a bike that you hook up to a generator, so you don't even have to have gas if you connect a bike to a generator, and it creates that motion of the magnets spinning, and then you have the copper wires, and the copper wires will send the power out. Obviously, with a bicycle powered generator, you're going to have to be pedaling a lot, and you're going to have to be pedaling, I don't know, to charge your phone or to do whatever you want to do. So that's going to take some, like a workout, basically would be like a workout. But that's another possibility you can use. I just think that would be really cool to have a lot of things, like have bikes just connected to everything, like a bike connected to like a washing machine, and instead of using electrical power, you just pedal, right? And it spins the motor, and it washes your clothes. That would be cool. Yeah, a bike connected to a generator, a bike connected to whatever, whatever you wanted, a chopper or something to chop food, or a blender or what have you, just bicycle powered where you don't even need any gas. I think that would be really cool to just have a bunch of bikes. And whatever you need is you just jump on the bike and just start pedaling away. I like bicycling anyway, so if I'm also at the same time creating power or chopping some onions, then that would be a good thing. So yeah, I'm excited with my little tiny tiger. Said I'm gonna clean it up, get a little toothbrush, get a little water, a little soap, clean this bad boy up, put another connector, yeah, and then test it out and see if it works. And then maybe I'll make another video when I get it to work, if I get it to work. And if I don't, then I will try to see what I need to do to get it to work. Like maybe it needs a new spark plug. That's probably pretty much. I don't know if this thing like has a carburetor, because a lot of times when if it's not drained, which is the way you winterize your toys or your machinery, your gas powered machinery. Usually you winterize it, that way it doesn't get gummed up in the. So it's probably not a good idea to be pulling this starter rope, because that might be pushing gas through the system, and if I don't fix it right away or work on it right away, then that could gum up the carburetor. So probably not a good idea, but if it does get gummed up, then I don't even know if or where the carburetor would be on this thing. It has this little box down here. I don't know. That looks like it. I don't know if those are hoses or cables. They kind of look like hoses. Right here. They kind of look like little hoses. I'm really not sure. Maybe I could get a hold of a manual as well. I don't even know, what is this thing right here? Maybe that's kind of the carburetor thing, because it has the choke right here where it stops the flow. I don't know, but when I had my little three-wheeler, I think I was like 10 or 11. My cousins always had, three-wheelers and toys and dirt bikes and stuff. And I think it was one Christmas, my aunt and uncle gave me and my sister their old 110 three-wheeler. And we rode it around and stuff, but then we let it sit for a really long time. We didn't winterize it. We didn't drain the gas, and it got gummed up. So one of my buddies, I was gonna give him a ride, and he was like, and it wouldn't start. So he was like, he said, "Oh, my dad could probably fix it." So we pushed it over to his place, and his dad, he took the carburetor off, took apart every little piece. He took every little piece off and like cleaned it out, and it was gummed up. So he cleaned it out, and like there was like every screw, every little spring, everything. I don't know like how he knew how to put it all back together. I don't know if there was pieces left over, who knows, I don't remember. But it looked like he really knew what he was doing. He knew how to work on small engines. He probably knew how to work on, full-size engines too. But anyway, he cleaned it all out. We pulled the starter cable and fired right up. And then he was like, "Tell your mom to give me $10." So I thought it was worth $10 to get it running again. So I went and asked my mom, and she gave me $10, and I took it back to him, and then we rode around and had fun, riding all over the place. It actually bothered my neighbor, because we would get up every morning. I think it was in the summer, and we'd get up every morning early, and then we'd just go ride around all over the place. And my neighbor, was like, "Hey, can you stop doing that so early in the morning?" So we had to like push it a ways out before starting it, because the neighbors were getting woken up. They were waking up, which people need to do anyway. People need to wake up to what's really going on in the world. I'm kidding, but yeah. So it was that happens a lot when you don't winterize it. You don't drain the gas from the system. It gets clogged up, and then obviously, as I said earlier, you need gas, spark, and air, to start an engine. And if it's gummed up, what's going to happen? You're not going to get any gas. So you can have the spark and the oxygen, but you won't be getting any fuel if it's clogged up. So that can be an issue with this too, especially how dirty it looks. They probably didn't do maintenance on it or winterize it, or make sure. I mean, preventative maintenance, I guess you call it. You call it preventative maintenance. I was in the Air Force, and that's what we would call it. Worked on the planes, we would always do things before they broke, and they called that preventative maintenance. Changing just different parts, and this thing they would call the sock, we would always change, because it was like the air conditioner unit had that, and that kind of like filtered the air, and we'd always change that out. But yeah, so we would go into phase. Like after so many hours of flight, the planes would go into the hangars, and we would do preventative maintenance on it. That was called phase work. We'd have to go, and they'd call it phase, and they'd bring it in, and then we had a checklist of everything all the preventative maintenance we had to do. And that's probably the best way to deal with your equipment. Me personally, I wish I would be that way more than I am. I'm more just like everything breaks when I get a hold of it, but I would love to be more of the preventative maintenance type of guy. But like I said, the way this looks, it doesn't look like the person that had it or kept it did a lot of preventative maintenance. I almost feel like it didn't get, I guess it probably did get a lot of use, but it still, like I said, it still has good compression. So I'm not sure how much it's been used. There's no counter on here, because sometimes these motors will have counters, and it tells you how many hours that the motor has been used. There's no counter on this, so I don't know how many hours it's been used. But like I said, it still has good compression, which means that, you know, probably wasn't used that much. So much so that, you know, it lost compression, or like just was worse for wear than it is. Yeah, hopefully it works. Gonna connect it, get the connector. You know, everything takes time. You know, I'm busy a lot of times doing a lot of other things. So, but I do want to try to get to this as soon as possible, because I think I could even just you know, replace this connector. I think I could just replace this connector and then just test it from there. Test it, because it has, you know, oil and gas in it. So I could probably just replace this connector, test it out, and if it starts, that would be amazing, and I could still clean it up, you know, and take care of other things on it. But if it doesn't start, then I could, you know, try to figure out what it is that's causing the problem. Maybe, like I said, it could be clogged up. But I do want to try to work on it as soon as possible. Most things kind of get pushed to the wayside because I have more immediate things that I need to do, like, you know, pay my bills. So that always takes priority. But this is something that I kind of want to put a little time into and see if it works. Because I mean, people, you know, want to know. I want to know, most of all me, but you know, the guy that, you know, ran into me at the same time when I was about to purchase it, I want to let him know. Be like, yo, I got it to work. That would be awesome if I could say that. Then obviously my uncle who wanted to buy it, I could tell him too, like, yo, I got it to work. So hopefully I can do that. Hopefully with just, all it needs is this connector. Like, just change this connector, and then hopefully it starts right up, and that'd be amazing. Because then I'll have a nice little working generator. I should have one of these connectors somewhere. Where? That's the question. But I should have one of these little connectors somewhere. It's just one of these little round ones. You know, it's just a little simple round connector. Then just crimp that on there. So this is like the little shielding, and you can take the little shielding off. Oh, what the heck? Doesn't want to come off. I don't want to pull too hard because I don't want to. But it came off pretty easy last time. I don't know what the deal is now. Yeah, I don't want to pull on it. But anyway, the wire's in there. You could barely see it. I'm going to like cut it down a little bit just so I can attach a new connector, and then I'll probably put a zip tie to hold it together so it doesn't, so the cut doesn't continue on down. I'll put like maybe I'll put some tape in a zip tie, or maybe even heat shrink. That would be even more ideal. If I can get it to start, maybe I'll probably just go all out and put a heat shrink on there, heat it up, and then it shrinks. It shrinks and provides a barrier and a connection, you know, a barrier, so nothing can get in there, and the part I cut won't cut more, you know, as time goes on. It's like a crack in a windshield. If you get a crack in a windshield, you score it right at the end of where the crack is, and it won't continue. But if you don't score it, it'll just keep continuing to crack over time. It just keeps continuing to crack. So you want to like score the bottom of that crack. You score across it, and the crack can't continue, obviously, because it's scored right there. So kind of a similar thing with this. If I cut it and I just leave it, then it'll probably just continue to open up as time goes on. So if I get it to work, get a little heat shrink, heat it up like I used to do back in the day in the flight line, because I was electrical environmental, which is electrical. Obviously, the chief said our chief was like, anything with a wire going to it, electrics has to be there. So basically what I'm trying to say is we had the most work because everything has a wire going to it. Weapons has wire going to it. Fuels has wire going to it. Communication navigation, which is called ComNav, has a wire going to it. Everything. So all the people who worked on the plant, well, not sheet metal, we didn't have to be there when they had a problem because they could just, they're just, I don't know, putting new sheet metal or whatever. But most of the jobs, whenever anybody had a problem, we had to be there. So basically, we were there the longest compared to everybody. So I picked the wrong job. No, it was cool. It taught me a lot of discipline, and I learned about electrical, housing. I don't know the ins and outs. Obviously, I know about working with wires and, electrical stuff, but I don't know the exact, the way it all works, how you wire everything within a house. I'm sure I could learn it pretty easy though, since I have experience working with doing electrical work, 4 years. The environmental part is anything that deals with air. So external air, air conditioning, cabin pressurization, LOX, which is liquid oxygen, which was converted to oxygen, and that's what the pilot breathes. So yeah, basically not only did we have to be there for everyone else's job, but we also had to deal with all the air problems. So yeah, that was long days, a lot of long days, which was good for me because I lacked discipline very, very much so. And I had no choice. I had to do what I had to do the work, and I had to show up every day. So that was very good for me. But yeah, so put the heat shrink on here. Put the heat shrink over, connect it. Actually, I'm gonna have to cut it down a little, put a new connector on, put the heat shrink over the cable. Actually, the heat shrink over the cable has to go before the connector, because how am I gonna, unless the heat shrink is cut, but I don't want to put cut it and put it on there. I want it to already be ready, a full, barrel, whatever. Put it on there, put the connector on, bring the heat shielding up, heat up the heat shielding, let it melt down, connect it to the spark plug, pull the cable, and hopefully it starts. And hope it starts. And I will be one happy camper. So there you go. There is my Tiny Tiger. So excited about it, and can't wait to use it. Hopefully one day, when I get it to work. Yeah, because eventually I want to go camping more often, because I never really go camping. Obviously, emergency situations, power outages, what have you, to be able to have this and to have 300 watts, which, like I said, is not a crazy amount. I'm not going to power the whole house with 300 watts. It's only going to be for, small things, but at least there will be some power. So, excited about that. Can't wait to use it. I guess thank you for watching my video. I was trying to, get this thing to work. Hopefully I will get it to work, and I will maybe come out with another video if and when I get it to work. And who knows, maybe if I do get it to work, it will inspire me to, go camping more, Like, I don't know, who takes a generator out camping? Nobody really, but I don't know. I need something to inspire me to go camping, so maybe this will do it. I don't even know what I would use it for, really, if I went camping. Who really needs a generator? But I think it would just be cool, like, to test it. Like, it'll give me a reason to test it, to use it, to go camping, to, do whatever. So, yeah, it'll be nice if I can start going camping, start going out to Mother Nature more often, because I love Mother Nature. And I think they're going to stop selling gas-powered things in California pretty soon, like 2026 or something. Like all these gas-powered products like blowers and, lawnmowers and generators, they're going to like stop selling them because they don't want people to be using gas-powered stuff, because apparently it's bad for the environment. But I don't know. That's kind of changing too, because people are realizing like electric is also bad in a lot of ways. From the children digging the lithium and cobalt and whatever else they're digging. The stuff for the solar panels, the stuff for the electronics. It's all. That's a big problem. And then the batteries. Where do the batteries go when they're no longer good? You have to get rid of them. So a lot of that might be changing. Apparently a lot of, electric car car companies who started to go electric are like kind of going back to gas. I heard of bus lines that were using gas that were using electric that are like, we're going to gas. I've seen like electric buses being charged up with, those big generators, those big ones, those huge gigantic ones. So it's basically like you're doing double the damage, because all the problems that electric has and all the problems that gas has, you're using both. So it's actually you're making twice as worse compared to like a gas powered. But from what I know, they really do want to ban all gas powered stuff, which really stinks for us, because it's a way for us to be able to have power. Because if we did just have electrical things, like what happens if the power goes out? What if your solar panels go bad? What if your batteries go bad? Like there's nothing you could really do. You're just out of luck. You either got to go buy some new ones or what have you. But with the gas powered, all you really need to do is just get more gas. So it just makes it easier for the people to have gas powered things. It makes us a little more independent, which I know some people don't want us to be independent, but I think it makes people more independent when we have gas powered stuff. So we'll see which way it goes. I think it'll be difficult for them to like totally ban like gas powered stuff. It's just seems like people, like I said, the bus company, a bus company went back to gas. A lot of people having problems with these electrical cars and hybrid cars and stuff like that. So hard to believe. I mean, I'm sure they can push it as far as they can, and they probably will. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully, it turns out in our favor, and we're able to still have and still use gas powered products, because like I said, it's easier for us, and there's nothing that's can just like stop it from working unless there's like no more gas, and I don't think that's going to run out. So yeah, there you go. Got the Tiny Tiger, got a little generator. I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited for me, because I'm really excited and I like this thing. It's beautiful. Everybody wants it, but they can't have it. Thank God, luckily, thank God I found it. I came upon it, and it's funny because I had looked at that little spot, I think before, and I didn't really see it. I just kind of like, sometimes you miss the obvious, you know what I'm saying? And so then when I went back, I was like, a lot of times I like to point at everything so I know if there's anything good, anything I'm missing. And I saw this and I was just like, oh dang, what the heck is that? And 20 bucks later, it's in my possession, and I'm hoping, and someone else wants it, and everybody else wants it. Well, my uncle and that other guy, but I'm sure a lot of people would want this. So, yeah, there you go. Thanks for watching. The tiny tiger. I think I'll make like a little thumbnail for the thumbnail. The little tiny tiger. Yeah. There's money to be made. You just got to get up and go out and go after it. There's gold in the streets, as they say, Aluminum cans, there's aluminum cans everywhere, You can make money off of aluminum cans, and, people just throw them on the street. Especially here in California, there's CRV. So if you don't know, people, when they buy drinks, beverages, whether it's in aluminum or plastic or what have you, they get charged a little bit extra for the CRV, California Redemption Value. So when you go return it, when you go recycle it, not only do you get the price of the aluminum, you also get the CRV. So you get a little bit of money. And that, I think that's to encourage people to recycle. So it's like, I want my money back. I'm going to go recycle this stuff so I can get that money that I paid. But what ends up happening is the people just write it off as just, the expense of buying it. And they don't go recycle. They just toss it on the street or, throw it in the recycle bin or what have you. And then, people like me or whoever can just pick it up off the street, fill up a bag, take it to the recycling place and make, 10, 20 bucks just for like a couple bags. So yeah, so there's money out there to be made. You just got to get up and push yourself and go out there and try to find stuff, go out there and try to, bargain for stuff, just look for deals, and you never know what you're going to find. I mean, you never know what you're going to find for an amazing deal. Luckily, I had 20 bucks on me, and I could make the purchase because there was a time when I'm still like not doing that great, but I couldn't even spend 20 bucks. There was a cool, my little cousin, she likes horses. And my aunt and my uncle, it's my aunt, my uncle, and my two little cousins, a boy and a girl. And, my little cousin, the female, she likes horses. And they bought this like little ranch, and it's got like stables and stuff, like nothing, like just the metal frame of the stables and stuff like that. And I don't think she has a horse yet. She goes riding because they have a friend that she goes and takes care of the horse, and she rides it and she feeds it, and she does, she helps her out, and she gets to ride the horse and, whatever she does. But anyway, my point is there was a horseshoe bell, and it was so cool. It was so cool. And it was all metal, and I thought it would be perfect for my aunt's, outside the house when she's calling the kids in. And I didn't have the 20 bucks, and it was only 20 bucks, and I was like, and I couldn't buy it, but I wanted to buy it so bad, and I couldn't buy it. So yeah, sometimes I don't even have the 20 bucks to spend on anything. So luckily, this time I did have the 20 bucks, and here it is. So yeah, there you have it, folks. Get out there and look around. Make some money. Instead of making excuses, make money. That's a good idea for a shirt. I'm going to put that on a shirt. Instead of making excuses, make money. And you can do it because there's a lot of ways to do it. You just got to put forth effort, and yeah, you just got to, have that motivation. Push yourself. I know. See, this world is they everything's easy. We take everything for granted. The people in the streets, the homeless people are overweight. We have the only homeless population in the world that's overweight. What does that tell you? That there's just too much abundance of food. There's too much abundance of, water, of resources for all of us. And when we're taken care of like that and we have food and we have water, it's like we lose motivation to do anything. So I know, with everything that's out there, whatever's in the air, whatever's in the food, whatever's in the water, being overfed, drinking, having, just being indulgent in life. And that's the way we're pushed. We're pushed to be indulgent. You want it, buy it. You want it, eat it. You want it, take it. It's like we're constantly pushed on a daily basis to indulge in anything your mind wants. And that creates a laziness, because we indulge in everything and we feel like we don't need to do anything because we're comfortable. And it's like, that's not good, because we're just becoming more and more dependent. Because imagine if they take all that away all of a sudden, or an emergency happens, or the economy collapses, or something happens to where we don't have an abundance of food. We don't have water at our fingertips. We don't have all the things that we have now. Then these people who are being indulgent now are not going to be able to take care of themselves. They're not going to be able to survive. Okay? So you have to figure out a way to not be indulgent in life. Figure out a way to not be indulgent in life, and get out there and realize, like, even if everything's good, you still have to be pushing yourself. No matter how good things are. I mean, there was a time where I was doing pretty decent in my life. I wouldn't, not like 6 figures or that close to it, but it's the best I have ever done in my life. And you get complacent. You're like, oh man, this is going to go on forever. And you get complacent and you get comfortable, and your mind starts feeling like, oh, I don't have to do much. And that's a big mistake. That happens to a lot of people. That happens to a lot of athletes who are making millions of dollars, musicians, rappers, entertainers. They start making all this money, and it's like, oh, I don't even have to push myself. Okay, and then eventually over time, when you're just, being indulgent and not pushing yourself, you're conditioning yourself. You're conditioning yourself on a daily basis to basically be lazy. Your body becomes lazy. Your mind becomes lazy. Everything becomes lazy, because you feel like you don't have to put that much effort, and you start to condition yourself. And eventually, if you lose whatever source that's giving you that income, you think you're going to be able to snap out of that laziness that quick. No, it doesn't happen like that. It takes a long time. Because that happened to me, and it took me a long time to realize that. And the quote is, it's not how good you have it, it's how long you have it good. So think about that one. It's not how good you have it, it's how long you have it good. So that's basically saying, in a nutshell, what I said about getting comfortable and not pushing yourself even when you have a lot. Because when you live like that, not pushing yourself even though when you have a lot, that's like how good you have it. It's like, oh, I have it so good, instead of how long you have it good. If when I was doing the best I had ever done, if I would have been thinking, I want to have it good long, then I would have been pushing myself every day instead of getting comfortable with what I had. So yeah. So even if you have it good, you still need to push yourself. Which, if I ever get in a position again where I'm doing pretty good, I'm going to continue to push myself. I'm not going to let that laziness and indulgent lifestyle take over. I'm going to continue to push myself even if I'm doing good. Because it's not how good you have it, it's how long you have it good. Anyway, thanks you guys for watching. That's it for today. That's my video. That's the Tiny Tiger. right in there. So excited, and I can't wait to use it. I can't wait to use it, and I can't wait to come back here and be like, yo, look what I got working. I got the Tiny Tiger working. So be ready for that video, because hopefully it'll come out real soon. But thank you for watching. Take care. Have a good day. Get out there. Get out there. Get something done. Don't indulge in life. Push yourself, no matter how good you have it. Thanks for watching. Take care, guys.